Welcome to the course of Cryptography and Network Security. This course is for 4th BTech first sem. Myself G. Prashanti, Vignans Nara Institute of Technology and Science, Department of Information Technology. So coming to the public key distribution. Okay, so here this public key distribution for distribution of the public keys. For distribution of the public keys. Okay, so here we are having a certificates. Okay, where the users can get certificates from the for certification authority. Okay, so here we will be having a certification authority where the user can go to the certification authority. He can request the certification authority to provide the certificate. Okay, so here this one is an X.509 certificate format. Okay, so where this X.509 certificate format is of this form, where it consists of like version number. Okay, so since we are having different versions, okay, so like version, okay, since we are having different versions, okay, by default the version number is 1. Okay, so by default if the version number is 1, if the issuer unique identifier or the subject unique identifier are present. Okay, so in this column, okay, so in this column if you are having like issuer unique identifier and if you are having a subject unique identifier. Okay, so if you are having, if the issuer unique identifier or the subject unique identifier are present, the value must be a version 2. Okay, then it can be a version 2. Okay, and if one or more extensions are present, then it must be a version 2. Okay, if like you are having the extensions, then it is like version 3. Okay, so here when coming to the version, you are having version 1, version 2, version 3, where by default it is a version number. Where in this format, if you are having issuer unique identifier and subject unique identifier, then it comes under the version 2. Okay, and along with that, if you are included with the extensions, then it means that it is a version 3. Okay, so based upon which format you are using, you have to specify here. So if your format is having like issuer unique identifier, subject unique identifier, then you will be saying as version as 2. If it also includes the extensions, then you will be saying version 3. Okay, if your format is not having these 3 fields, okay, if your format is not having these 3 fields, then you have to specify as version 1. Okay, so that is about the version, and the next field is your serial number. Okay, so the next field is a serial number, where the serial number is an integer value, or we can say it is an unique number that is given within the issuing certificate authority. Okay, so based upon the certificate authority that is signing. Okay, so here the certificate authority will be signing your certificate. Okay, so the signature is the signature of our certificate authority. Okay, who is giving you the certificate? Okay, so when you request for a certificate, so there will be a certificate authority. That certificate authority signs that certificate, and he will be sending you the certificate. Okay, and you can use this certificate as a public key distribution. Okay, you can announce your public key. You can announce your public key by using this certificate. Okay, so here when you request for a certificate, the certificate authority signs this certificate. Okay, so whoever the person is signing, okay, so based upon the issuing certificate authority, a unique ID will be given to your certificate. Okay, so that is nothing but your serial number. Serial number is nothing but a unique ID. Okay, that is unique ID given to your certificate. And this unique ID is like based on the issuing. Okay, whatever the ID that you are getting, that is based on the issuing certificate authority. Okay, so and next one is a signature algorithm ID. Okay, so this signature algorithm ID here, whatever the algorithms that are used for signing the certificate. Okay, so the algorithms used to sign the certificate, together with any associated parameters that has little utility due to the repeat of this information in the signature field. Okay, so this field consists of the algorithms that are used to sign the certificate. Okay, this field consists of the algorithms that are used to sign the certificate together with your associated parameters. Associated parameters like if you are like using digital signature standard, you will be having some global parameters. Okay, you will be using some random integers, you will be using some identifiers. Okay, so along with these associated parameters, what is the algorithm that are used to sign the certificate? Those will be given in this field. Okay, so here see here. So here you are applying some signature algorithm. Okay, so you are applying some signature algorithm, and you are applying a hash algorithm also. Okay, while doing that signature and whatever the algorithm that you are using for signing, whatever the algorithm that you are using for generating that hash value, or we can say hash algorithm that you are generating, hash algorithm that you are using for generating this digest value. Okay, whatever the hash algorithm that you are using for generating the digest value, and whatever the algorithm that the signer is using. Okay, so all that information is contained in this field called as the signature algorithm ID. Okay, and the next one is your issuer name. So where issuer name, this X.500 name of the certificate authority that created and signed this certificate. Okay, so whoever the certificate authority that is signing. Okay, whoever the certificate authority is signing, so that signer's name will be given in this issuer name. Okay, after that comes the validity period. Period of validity, it consists of 2 dates, the first and last dates on which the certificate is valid. Okay, so whatever the certificate that you will be getting, that can be expired. Okay, so whatever the period for which that is validated, so that the validation dates will be provided in this validity period. Okay, and that subject name. So subject name is nothing but the name of the user to whom the certificate refers. Okay, or if suppose the certificate is the Bob. Okay, if the certificate is for the Bob, then here you will be having the name of the Bob. Okay, so subject name is nothing but to whom this certificate belongs. Okay, so his name will be given as subject name. Okay, and similarly subject's public key. So whatever his public key that he has created, that public key will be placed in this subject public key. Okay, so subject's public key information, the public key of the subject plus the identifier of the algorithm for which the key is to be used together with the any associated parameters. Okay, all that information will be placed in that subject public key information field. Okay, so this subject public key, this field contains the public key information of that particular person. Okay, and issuer unique identifier. Okay, whoever the issuer, whoever the certificate authority that is signing, that is issuing. Okay, so he will be having a unique ID. Okay, so that unique ID will be placed here. So similarly the subject will also be given a unique ID, so that a unique ID of the subject will be placed here. Okay, so that is your subject's unique issuer unique identifier. Okay, an optional bit string field used to identify uniquely the issuing CA. Okay, whoever the issuing certificate authority. So that certificate authority's unique identity will be placed in this field. Okay, and similarly subject's unique ID. Okay, so subject's unique identity will be placed in this field called as the subject unique identifier, and these two are optional. Okay, if you are like version 1 so these two fields are optional. Okay, and then extensions. So a set of 1 or more extension fields, these are added in version 2. Okay, so these extensions are added in version 3. And the signature, the last one is the signature. Okay, so if you take here, these are the extensions that are added in version 3, and the last field is your signature. Where the signature, this you will be getting by doing a hash algorithm. Okay, so how the certificate authority will be signing. Okay, so how the certificate authority will be generating this signature? He will be generating the signature by taking all these fields. Okay, so here what the certificate authority will be doing is that he will be taking all these fields. Okay, he will be taking the information in these fields. Okay, he will be taking all the information in these fields. On that information, he will be applying a hash algorithm, like your SHA algorithm, whatever be that. He will be applying a hash algorithm, and then he will be getting a digest. Okay, on that digest, he will be signing with his private key. Okay, whoever the certificate authority that is issuing, that issuing certificate authority's private key. Okay, by using that private key, he will be signing by using the signature algorithm, like your digital signature standard. Okay, so by using those DSS, or you can use RSA for signature also. Okay, so you can use any of the signature algorithm along with the private key, and then you will be getting a signed digest. Okay, so whatever that signed digest that you will be getting, that signed digest along with that hash algorithm ID, cipher ID, along with the parameters that will be placed in this signature field. Okay, so the signature, is generated by the certification authority by using his private key. Okay, so by using his private key, he will be generating this signature by taking the information of all these fields. Okay, applying the hash algorithm on these fields and getting the digest. On the digest, he will be using the signature. He will be applying the signature by using his private key, and that signed digest will be placed in this signature field along with the algorithm's ID, cipher ID, and parameters. Okay, so that is the last field, signature. It covers all other fields of the certificate. Okay, whatever I have said, it will be covering all other fields of the certificate. It contains the hash code of all other fields. Okay, it contains hash code of all other fields encrypted with the CS private key. Okay, so encrypted with the CS private key means that signed. Okay, it is a signature. Encrypted with the CS private key. This field includes the signature algorithm identifier. Okay, so that is what. So it takes all other fields from version 2, whatever you are having extension. On that hash algorithm is applied, you will be getting a digest. That digest is signed by the CA with his private key. That signature is appended to this form. Okay, so that is about the certificate format. It's 0.509 certificate format. Okay, so where this is used for the public key distribution. If any Bob want to announce his public key. Okay, if Bob want to announce his public key, so instead of announcing it by using the key distribution center, instead of taking help from the key distribution center, what he can do is that he can take the certificate from the certification authority. Okay, so here what that Bob can do, if suppose Bob want to announce his public key, so what the Bob can do is that he can take the certificate from the certification authority. Okay, and he can announce that certificate, and this certificate consists of the public key. Okay, so and whoever the sender, if Alice wants the public key of Bob, she can take this certificate, and from this certificate she can get the Bob's public key. Okay, so that is the X.50 certificate format. Okay, and similarly we are having a certificate revocation also. Okay, so already we are seen a field called as the validity period. Okay, so after that validity period, okay, if you see here, okay, here we are having the validity period. In X.50 format we are having a validity period. So this is the date. Okay, this is the 2 dates, the first and last, on which the certificate is valid. After this date, the certificate will not be valid. Okay, so after this last date, the certificate is not valid. Okay, so in that case, what he has to do is that he has to revoke it. Okay, if he has, if that Bob has seen that the certificate has been like going for expiry. Okay, so before that expiry of that certificate, what the Bob can do is that before the expiry of that certificate, what that Bob can do is that the Bob can go for the revocation of the certificate. Okay, so here certificates has a period of validity. Already I have said certificate has a period of validity. If that certificate is going for expiry, then okay, in that case they can go for the revocation. Okay, so we need to revoke before expiry. Before expiry only, so the certificate has to be revoked. Okay, these are the different scenarios where the users will be revoking their certificates. Okay, so sometimes the user's private key is compromised. Okay, that means like if it is like Alice. Okay, so Alice's private key has been compromised. So that means that she has to change her private key. If the private key is changed, that means the public key is also changed. Okay, since the public key is changed, the certificate has to be revoked. Okay, so similarly, if the user is no longer certified by that certificate authority, okay, so the certificate authority who has signed that certificate. Okay, so if that user is no longer certified by that certificate authority, in that case also revocation has to be done. Okay, even if the CA certificate is compromised. Okay, so since the CA is signing with his private key, okay, so the CA will be also having his certificate. So if the CA certificate is also compromised, in that case also the certificate has to be revoked. Okay, these are some of the examples when the certificate has to be revoked. Okay, so the certificate can be revoked if the user's private key is compromised, if the user is no longer certified by the certificate authority, if the CA certificate is compromised. In these cases, the user can go for the certificate revocation. Okay, so here CA maintains a list of Okay, so here CA maintains a list of revoked certificates. Okay, so here CA maintains a list of revoked certificate. The certificate revocation list he will be maintained. Okay, here the CA will be maintaining a certificate revocation list. That certification revocation list consists of all the users who want to revoke their certificates. Okay, so users should check certificates with the CA's certificate revocation list. Okay, so this is the certificate revocation format. Okay, so here signature algorithm ID, so which is similar. So this field, okay, and similarly issuer name. These two fields are similar to your X.509 certificate format field. Okay, so here also you will be having like signature algorithm ID. Okay, issuer name. So these two fields are similar to that. Okay, to the fields. Okay, of this revocation format. Okay, so and this update date. Okay, so this update date is that it is a list when this this is the date when this list has been released. Okay, so the date when this new list has been list has been released. Okay, so this is the date when this revocation list has been released, and this is the next update date is the date. Okay, so the next update date is the date when the new list will be released. Okay, so this update date is the date when the list has been released. Okay, and this next update date is the date when the new list will be released. Okay, and these revoked certificate, this is the list of, so these are the list of revoked certificates. Okay, so this is the list of the revoked certificates. Okay, that has to be revoked before expiry. Okay, and last one is a signature. Already you know the signature, where this signature is done by the certification authority, and for doing that signature he will be using all these fields. Okay, he will be using all these fields and he applies the hash algorithm on this field. Okay, on these fields, applying the hash algorithm, we will be getting a digest. On that digest, the CA will be applying the signature algorithm. by using his private key, he will be getting a signed attest. So that will be appended to this format. Okay. So that is about the certificate revocation format. Okay. So and similarly you are having a public key infrastructure. Okay. So this public key infrastructure is a model for creating, distribution and revoking certificates. Okay. So this is a model for creating, distributing and revoking certificate based on the X.509. Okay. So here it is like a database. It is a database where in this database where you will be like creating the certificate, distributing the certificate and revoking the certificate. All that will be done in this public key infrastructure. Okay. So here ITEF has created the public key infrastructure X.50, and this public key infrastructure is a model for creating, distributing and revoking certificates. Okay. So here the different duties that are performed by this public key infrastructures are, first one is your certificates, it's issuing, renewal and revocation. Okay. So if any person is like requesting for issuing the certificate, or if any person want to renew that certificate, so if any user want to revocate the certificate, okay, that revocation, issuing, renewing, all that are done by this public key infrastructure. Okay, and similarly key storage and update also. Okay, whatever it is maintaining like a database, it maintains a database where in that database it will be storing the keys. Okay, public keys of the user. Okay, so here it will be like maintaining a database that consists of all the public keys, and if that public keys has to be updated, that updation can also be done by this. And this is done by this public key infrastructure only. Okay, and also providing services to other protocols. Okay, so providing services to other protocols, like sometimes they are having like some protocols like IPsec protocols, transport layer security. Okay, so these protocols require like public keys. Okay, so these what this public key infrastructure do is that, so it provides services to these type of protocols. Okay, so provide services to other internet security protocols that need public key information. Okay, like your IP security, transport layer security. So these requires public keys. So these protocols can get public key information from this public key infrastructure. Okay, and similarly the last one is access control. Okay, so the last one is providing access control. Providing access control means that it provides different levels of access to the information stored in the database. Okay, so already we have said that. So here it is storing and updating private keys for members who wish to store their private keys at a safe place. Okay, that means that it is like storing the keys in a database. Okay, for accessing that database, for accessing this database. So here it is like providing access control, like read, write, execute permissions. Okay, so it will be providing different level of access to the information stored in its database. Okay, so that is the public key infrastructure duties, where it will be like its duty is issuing the certificates, renewing the certificate, revoking the certificate. And similarly, so whatever the private keys and public keys of the members, those will be stored in a database. That is also done by this public key infrastructure. And similarly, it provides services to other protocols. Other protocols like your IP security and TLS protocols that require some public key information. So that public key information they can get that public key information from this PKI duties. Okay, and similarly providing access control. So whatever it provides different levels of access control on the database. Okay, so that is about the public key infrastructure. Thank you.